Life would have been a lot scarier if dinosaurs were still around. But what if I told you there were creatures even bigger and meaner? From giant snakes to deep-sea monsters, here are some animals scarier than dinosaurs. Dunkleosteus. Some of the scariest creatures lived in water, and Dunkleosteus was one of them. This massive fish lived about 370 to 360 million years ago during the late Devonian period, also called the Age of Fish. That's way before dinosaurs, which appeared much later in a time called the Mesozoic era, split into the Triassic, Jurassic, and Cretaceous periods. Dunkleosteus was about 26 to 32 feet long and looked like a shark with an armored head. It didn't have regular teeth, but instead had two bony blades that worked like sharp scissors. These blades could crush almost anything, including fish, sharks, and even other Dunkleosteus. Its bite was incredibly strong. Scientists think it could bite with a force of up to 8,000 pounds per square inch. For comparison, a lion's bite is only about 650 pounds per square inch. But Dunkleosteus had a problem. It was so greedy that it often ate too much. Fossils of this creature are sometimes found with half-digested fish nearby, showing it couldn't always keep its meals down. Luckily for us, Dunkleosteus is long gone. Helicoprion. If you thought Dunkleosteus was scary, wait until you hear about Helicoprion. This 20 to 25-foot-long fish lived about 270 million years ago and has been one of the biggest mysteries for paleontologists. The confusion started when scientists found strange, spiral-shaped fossils that looked like petrified fruit roll-ups. In 1899, a Russian geologist named Alexander Karpinski named the creature Helicoprion. He guessed that the weird spiral teeth might have been attached to its nose, like a rolled-up party horn. But no one was sure for over 100 years. For a long time, paleontologists had wild ideas about where the spiral of teeth was located. They imagined it on the snout, hanging off the jaw, or even inside the throat. Finally, in 2013, researchers figured it out. The spiral of teeth actually fit into the lower jaw, working like a buzzsaw. As new teeth grew at the back, the older ones stayed in the front, and the jaw had almost no upper teeth. So how did Helicoprion eat? Scientists think that when it closed its jaw, the spiral teeth spun backward, slicing its prey like a saw. If that doesn't sound terrifying enough, the largest Helicoprion ever found had a jaw that was 2 feet wide. Thankfully, this prehistoric buzzsaw fish went extinct 225 million years ago. The name terror birds says it all. These creatures were terrifying. After a meteor wiped out the dinosaurs like T-Rex and Velociraptor, terror birds became the top land predators in South America. They ruled for an incredible 60 million years. These feathered beasts grew up to 10 feet tall, with T-Rex-like feet and a sharp hooked beak strong enough to break a horse's spine in one blow. Their reign started when South America was still an island, before Central America connected it to the rest of the world. While predators like saber-toothed cats and wolves dominated other continents, South America mostly had plant-eating mammals. This gave terror birds an all-you-can-eat buffet with no competition. Terror birds were fast runners and used their beaks like pickaxes, striking downward to crush the skulls of smaller prey. Their hard, bony heads also worked like giant meat tenderizers, and their sharp claws made them even deadlier. Over 60 million years, 17 different species of terror birds evolved, but they all disappeared about 2.5 million years ago. Imagine running into one of these creatures. They definitely make you appreciate today's harmless pigeons a lot more. Platybelodon. How do you make an elephant terrifying? Give it a giant spork-shaped jaw instead of a trunk. Platybelodon, a bizarre ancestor of the modern elephant, lived 8 to 20 million years ago. It looked like something a kid might imagine. But this strange creature was very real. Its unusual lower jaw was made of widened tusks, modified teeth that formed a spork-like shape. Why did it have such a weird feature? Animals don't develop useless traits, so scientists believe it had several purposes. Originally, in the 1920s, researchers thought Platybelodon used its jaw to scoop and dig up soft plants in swamps. But in 1992, paleontologist David Lambert suggested it might also have worked like a scythe, cutting through thick vegetation. Instead of staying near water, Platybelodon roamed forests and grasslands in Asia, Africa, and North America during the Miocene epoch. It would grab branches with its trunk and slice them with its tusks. Because the fleshy parts of its jaw don't fossilize well, it's amazing we know so much about Platybelodon today. Luckily, many of these creatures died near rivers, which helped preserve their fossils. While Platybelodon wouldn't have been much of a threat to humans if it were still around, its strange, spork-shaped face makes it one of the weirdest-looking animals in history. Andrewsarchus. It's hard to imagine anything named Andrew being scarier than a dinosaur, but Andrewsarchus proves otherwise. This terrifying creature lived in Asia about 45 to 36 million years ago during the Eocene era. In 1923, scientists found part of its skull in Mongolia, and it was massive, nearly 3 feet long. Expedition leader Roy Chapman Andrews, who found the skull, named it Andrewsarchus mongoliensis after himself. To this day, the skull is the only fossil ever found from this species. Using the skull in comparisons to a similar prehistoric creature called Mesonyx, scientists estimate Andrewsarchus was about 16 feet long, stood 6 feet tall, and weighed between 1,764 to 2,200 pounds. Its body was wolf-like, with a long tail, short legs, and hoofed feet. But its most terrifying feature was its snout, packed with huge, bone-crushing teeth. Andrewsarchus is believed to be the largest meat-eating land mammal ever discovered. Oddly enough, it's thought to be related to hippos and whales, part of a larger group of mammals called artiodactyls. Scientists aren't sure if it was a fierce predator or just a massive scavenger, but one thing's clear: you wouldn't want to run into one. Titanoboa. If you're scared of snakes, you might want to look away now. Around 60 million years ago, during the Paleocene epoch, a giant snake called Titanoboa slithered through the swampy waters of what is now Colombia. This was the biggest snake ever to live, nearly 50 feet long and weighing an incredible 2,500 pounds. That's 10 times heavier than today's green anaconda, which lives in the same area. Unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, Titanoboa didn't live at the same time as the dinosaurs. It appeared a few million years after they went extinct, ruling the hot, humid jungles of its time, where everything grew bigger than today. Titanoboa was so massive it barely seemed possible under the laws of gravity. Like modern whales, its size was easier to manage because it lived in water. This giant snake probably couldn't move very well on land and acted more like a water-dwelling anaconda than a land boa constrictor. Imagine swimming in a river and spotting the shed skin of this beast on the bank. Terrifying. Titanoboa was an ambush predator, waiting in the water to strike its prey. It used its powerful body to squeeze the life out of animals like giant turtles and crocodiles. Basically, it ate anything it wanted. Scientists aren't sure why or when Titanoboa went extinct, but one thing is certain. If these monsters were still alive today, humans wouldn't stand a chance. We've reached the end of part 1. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you'd like me to upload part 2 on Saturday, make sure to hit the like button and let me know in the comments. Thank you for sticking with me till the end. See you in the next video. Goodbye.